Okay guys, this is going to be my Pan That palette for 2015 1-month update, but technically I'm a little bit over that. I'm somewhere in between 4 weeks and 5 weeks, but I have solely been using the Lorac Pro palette for this entire time, and I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update on my progress, where I'm at. I uploaded the intro video on the 31st of December 2014, so I will link that down in the description box if I remember. Hopefully I do. Pan That palette was originated by Amber F. I'm also going to link her down in the description box. Go and check her out and subscribe to her if you are not already. She is definitely an inspiration when it comes to panning and using up your eyeshadows. So I think that I'm going to be able to insert a clip somewhere in here from my original video showing you my progress on the Lorac Pro. There are all of the shades. So there is my palette. Let me give you a little look here for a minute before I talk about any of the shades. Okay, so here's the thing. When I uploaded my initial video, I had no idea how deep or how shallow the pans on the Lorac Pro shadows were. So I had a really big dip in this cream shade right up here, and it took about 3 uses with a big fluffy Sonia Kashuk brush just blending out my crease area up here. About 3 times and I had already hit the pan. So I kind of, put the brakes on that guy because I didn't want to use it all up. I don't use it very often. I have hit pan on 4 shadows here, but 2 of them I don't really take credit from it because they already had pretty decent dips in them. But gold here, what I've done with gold, because it is really tricky for me to use, typically what I'll do is I will put down a color tattoo all over my lid, and then I'll use something like white or cream to just go over it, just to kind of neutralize everything, and it just makes blending shadows over the top of it a little bit easier. But what I've been doing is, instead of using a shade like one of these two, I just put gold all over my lid from the lash line till about, right about here, right just above my crease. And that's what I've been doing with gold, and that is why there is such a big dip in gold. And then what I'll do is I will go in with nude and champagne. I'll kind of mix those two together, and I will put that all over the inner portion and probably to about halfway mark. Sometimes I'll put it all the way over on the lid, but I just put that over the gold to kind of neutralize how orange that gold is. It is such an intense orange shade on this gold shadow. So that's why I have so much progress on these guys. Definitely, if you are nervous about using the gold shade, try that out, see if that works a little bit. Like I have it on today, you can't even tell that I have gold on for an eyeshadow. I think I have really big eyeballs. And as weird as that sounds, Faithers K told me before, that's a lot of lid space from having huge eyeballs. I have a lot of lid space to work with. So I think that after a month time frame, that really does add up, that little extra bit. So really the shades that I don't really think have moved much since the initial update have been white. It stayed pretty much the same. Light pink, I really have been avoiding using this one too. Mauve, I've used this a couple times, but I'm trying not to use it. So it's, there's a tiny bit of a dip in it, but I haven't used it much. Sable, I'm telling you what, this sucker has not moved whatsoever. And the lighting in here is definitely casting a shadow on these shadows. And it's definitely making them look like there's crazy dips in them when there's really not that much of a dip when I look at it straight on. Let's see here. I used light bronze for a little bit because I was really nervous about using that one because I thought it would be similar to gold. Just really difficult for me to wear. And you know what? Surprisingly, that is a really nice shade, and I'm saving that one too, but I've used it a little bit. And much to my surprise, pewter and garnet look almost the same. They had little dips in them like this when I initially started this project. So You know, I've used them 2 or 3 times, but I've been trying not to use these guys. I just feel like I use shades like light bronze, pewter, mauve, cream, white. I use all these kinds of shades on a regular basis and have zero problem with them. So I'm trying to work through some of the shadows that are a little bit more difficult for me first, and then I can go on to the rest of them. It's kind of like, I kind of equate it to eating my lima beans first when I'm eating dinner, and then I can go on to my dessert instead of eating the dessert first. So I have noticed 4 things about this palette since I have been using it for the past month. The first thing is definitely I've had to switch up the application order that I put my makeup on my face, if that makes sense. Before I would put primer if I'm using primer, foundation, concealer, you know, then do my blush work and then go onto my eyes. I've had to completely switch that around, and I do my eyes first and then I put foundation on, concealer, blush. I've had to completely switch that around. I've also noticed that the consistency and the texture on these shadows aren't the same across the board between everybody's palettes. I've seen a lot of girls dip their brush into like sable and it just puffs up with powder and there's crazy kick up and everything. It doesn't do that on mine. Mine is a super pressed hard powder that barely shows any progress. I've been using this for, I probably used it the first 2 or 3 weeks straight in the outer crease, and you can barely even see anything in there. So, I don't know. Sable is going to be definitely a challenging shade for me. I also wanted to mention that I've noticed that the shimmer shades do go a lot quicker than any of the matte shades. The only reason why I have pan on this cream shade up here is because I had some crazy dip in this cream shade before I even started. Also, the last thing that I've noticed is I cannot handle whatsoever using espresso black or deep purple as a liner or to set my liner. I have fallout all over my cheeks when I do that. I have it, you know, along the edge of my nose. Somehow I get it right here on my chin. I have it everywhere. And it's not just when I apply it. It's, you know, at 2 o'clock I'll notice there's some fallout all over on my cheeks, and then I'll wipe it off, clean it up. And then at 7 o'clock, I noticed the same thing too. So it's really frustrating, and it's not like I'm using an excessive amount of powder doing that. It just doesn't stick to my eyes. It doesn't matter if I spray it with Fix Plus or the Urban Decay setting spray. Nothing, it just doesn't stick to my eyes for some reason. So the best way that I found to use these deeper shadows, these last 4 over here, is just to deepen up my outer crease. Like today, you can see there, I have black in my outer crease, and that's the only way that I'm going to be able to use these shadows up. There's no way I could just use them as a liner on the bottom or the top lash line. So I do have some goals on what I want to do with this palette for the next month, and I'm thinking for February what I want to do here, since I have hit pan on gold and I've kind of figured out a way that works for me to use this shadow up, I'm going to try and use up as much of gold as I possibly can. And then I definitely think that I want to hit pan on taupe. I tried using taupe as a a contour and to, you know, bronze around the perimeter of my face. It just doesn't work for me. I just don't feel like it's the right tone when I'm this pale. So I think maybe in the summer it would work a little bit better, but as of right now, I'm just using this as a crease shade or, you know, a transition shade or something. And then, like I mentioned before, this month I want to use one of these deeper shades as an outer crease corner, or just, you know, the outer V. I'm going to be focusing on deep purple for that this next month. So I'm really excited about this. If you are panning a palette, it doesn't have to be the Lorac Pro. Let me know if you're panning one down below so I can come over and follow your channel. I'd love to support you and have your support as well. It's kind of challenging using this. Anyway, that is my update as of yet. Let me know how you guys are doing, and that's it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.